Welcome back to the Success Catalyst. My name is Nina Robert. I'm your host, and today I have an incredible guest, Kim Day, the award-winning author of Write and Grow Rich: How to Use a Book to Supersize Your Brand, Your Business, and Your Bank Account. Kim helps coaches, consultants, and service-based entrepreneurs overcome the daily struggle of finding their next client, stand out in their industry, and increase their visibility, credibility, and authority by publishing a book. Her bigger vision is to turn the 97% failure rate for coaches into a success rate because the world needs great coaches. And after publishing her first book, The Financial Fitness Playbook: The Ultimate Guide to Winning the Money Game, she was able to double her income in less than 12 months using the same strategies she now teaches in her book and signature program. I'm thrilled to have you with me today, Kim. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you. And I'm really, really impressed and inspired by your transition from a financial advisor to an award-winning author and coach. So can you share what motivated you to write your first book and how it changed your career?
Right? What a big shift. I've had lots of people think I'm certifiably nuts for having done that because for over 13 years, I was a financial advisor. Um, and, but like a lot of people, I was in a business and I had studied how to be a financial advisor, right? I'd gone to school, I'd taken all the courses, I got all the certifications, I did all the things. But what they didn't teach me in finance school was how to do the marketing and the business piece.
Mm,
And so I struggled. So, like a lot of coaches and consultants, right, and course creators, they struggle, and not because they're not brilliant at what they do, but because they didn't go to business or marketing school. So, I found myself what I now lovingly refer to as the income roller coaster. So I would have really great months, and then all of a sudden it would be like, oh my gosh, where is my next mortgage payment coming from? Or where is my next meal coming from? Or I'd be like, my cell phone was imminently going to get cut off. And I'm
mhm,
like, I was in this place of constant anxiety over money. And you can kind of probably imagine, as a success coach yourself, that was a huge, big disconnect from what I was supposed to be teaching. I was supposed to be teaching financial literacy and teaching people about their money, yet I was broke. So I had all of the feelings like the imposter syndrome.
mm,
And I was constantly in this feeling of just panic and anxiety over my money. And so I would work hard to become an independent advisor. And
mhm,
then in those moments of struggle, I would go back and get a job, right? In
mhm.
an equally soul-sucking, uninspiring industry
Oh my.
where your bosses just didn't appreciate you. You were working, I was working 14 to 16-hour days, 6 days a week in an industry where there's just no appreciation. And it was in one of those kind of pivotal moments where kind of everything changed, like some things do, right?
Mhm.
One, I had a diagnosis, so I was diagnosed with cancer, but also in the midst of all of that, I was let go from my job. So I was working in a car dealership as a financial services manager, and if you've ever bought a car recently, you'll know most of the dealerships are very similarly the same.
Yeah.
There was, the big shiny showroom with all the cars in it. And then there's a series of glass offices because all of the staff need to see what's happening on the showroom floor. And so I was in my glass shiny office and I got called into the boss's office. So I, walked across the showroom floor into his glass office. And I was let go in the middle of a busy Saturday shift where we were fully staffed. The building was packed. It's the busiest day of the dealership on a Saturday. And it was not just like, hey, you're like, go home at the end of the shift, or, you have 2 weeks notice. It was go back to your office and pack your things and leave like right now.
Oh my God.
So I had to walk back across the showroom floor from his glass office back to my glass office and literally in a fishbowl, pack up my things, take my little box and walk out of the showroom to the outside of the building. And it was in that moment right there that I made a huge, big decision that that was never going to happen to me again. Like never. I was going to figure out this thing called marketing so that
Mm-hmm.
I could get control of my own finances and my own economy. And I would never have somebody else be able to do that to me again. And that was kind of the big TSN turning point of the game that put me on that trajectory. And the rest was kind of history after that.
I love that story, and thank you for sharing. And you know what? This is like um, some other time when I hear some story that is similar, that is bad news or an emotional impact or um, like a hard life lesson like this one is usually something for the better, for the greater good. It's usually something that we don't see as good immediately, but eventually this is probably one of the best things that would ever happen, because without that event, without that day, I don't think you'd be here now. We wouldn't be having this conversation. I was in a very similar situation. I was very happy with the job that was not actually helping me in any way to grow or to achieve better results or to express my full potential. And I was laid off as well. And I at first it was like obviously bad news, but eventually it's the biggest best thing that ever happened to me, because I got a whole year of pay, and this during this whole year I could focus on starting my business. I was already wanted to start my business, and I was trying to make it as a side hustle, but eventually I couldn't make it. So I was just struggling between the two until one of them had to really stop, and that was the right thing for me. So it's all to the good. I love that story, and it's a reminder for us all that whatever happens, we can just shift our perspective and look for a better way to grow within that event, within that situation. And so far, I know you've helped many entrepreneurs publish books to enhance their visibility and credibility. So, can you explain why publishing a book is such a powerful tool for personal branding and business growth?
Yeah, it was one of the biggest game changers in my life, and it's so true though about what you just said. But the the things that happen in our life that at the time feel like really negative and bad can truly be those biggest catalysts, right? This is the
Mhm.
Success Catalyst
Yes.
podcast. So it really truly was the catalyst that set my life in a whole new direction.
Mhm.
And one day I'll go back to that dealership and I'm going to shake my boss's hand and I'm going to thank him for what he did for me that day, because it really truly was a life-changing moment for sure. And so what I did, like a lot of people, is I started going to courses and seminars and learning this thing called marketing. So, and one of the things I love to do personally is travel. So I actually now, kind of fast forward a few years, I live in a 36-foot motorhome. I'm actually at a friend's place right now in South Florida. So I travel all around North America in my motorhome with my dog Chip. So traveling is a huge, big part of my DNA. I love to do it. I love to be on the road. I love to explore new places and meet new people and, immerse myself in other cultures and other environments. And I especially love warm climates like the beach. So if I could live in a sundress and flip flops for the whole rest of my life, I would be in my
Beautiful.
happy place.
I
So
love it.
yeah. So I created that for myself, which is awesome. But if we go back to like the origins, is that I actually went to this huge, big marketing seminar in Los Angeles, California. So I'm from Canada, so really cold in the winter. So anytime I could travel somewhere south and warm, I would take advantage of that. And of course, if I do it for a business trip, I could write that thing off, right? So against expenses, like so for tax purposes, I would travel a lot for my business development, personal development. So I'm down in LA at the world's greatest marketing seminar, is what it was called. And truly it was. And again, another kind of pivotal moment in my life. And it was one of those events where you go to and there's a multiple speakers all teaching you a tactic or their preferred strategy for success in marketing, right? So there was the people who were teaching you how to do podcasting to grow your business, how to do email marketing to grow your business, all of these tools and ideas. And I was listening to the gentleman who was talking about the idea and the concept of writing a book to grow your business. He called it branding by wow.
I
And
love
because
it.
he said, when you tell people that you're a published author, and maybe you'll notice this now in the future, but you tell people that you're a published author or a 2 times published author, and they're like, wow, that's amazing. The
Yeah.
first word that comes out of almost everybody's mouth is wow, because people perceive that as difficult to do, difficult to achieve. It's an accolade,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we're also taught from a very, very, very young age that reading is important,
Mm-hmm.
literacy is important. We're given books as children, right, to learn how to read. Um, our parents actually would prefer to see us with a book in hand than a toy, right? And then what do? Then we go to school, and we are taught that the teacher at the front of the room is also the expert, the person we should listen to,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we're all the way through school given a curriculum of classes that we're going to do. And then we're walk into the class and we're given a textbook list, right? To go and get that book that's going to accompany the class that we take. So now imagine you are the teacher at the front of the room. Maybe it's speaking on a podcast. Maybe it's speaking on a stage. Maybe it's hosting your own workshops or seminars or training events, right? Or inside of your coaching program or your course. You are the teacher. So you're immediately perceived as the subject matter expert. And then imagine you're handing your students your very own textbook in the form of your published book with your name on the front cover. Now you're doubling up your perceived expertise
Mm-hmm.
and your authority, right? And the root word of authority is author.
Oh,
So
okay.
as
That's
he was, yeah, so as he was sharing all of this on stage,
mm,
it just in my mind, it was ticking all the boxes. Yep, that makes
mhm.
sense. That makes sense, right? Because I had a coach one time tell me, don't believe a word I say. You have to come from your own perspective. But, I was sitting there in the audience going, yeah, this all makes perfect sense. My mentors and people that I was following were all published authors,
Yeah.
in the world of finance.
Mhm.
So I made another, really pivotal decision in that moment. And I hired him to teach me how to write my book. And that's what I did. And in less than 3 months, I had my very first published book, the Financial Fitness Playbook.
Mhm.
And I used that book to open doors to speaking opportunities. I used it to reach out to the media and publicity and local television and radio stations in my area
Mhm.
and be able to get on TV, get on radio.
I love it.
Um, And so it wasn't just the book, but some of the things the book can do for you because you
Mhm.
are perceived as a subject matter expert. And that opens a lot more doors. And then it exponentially positions you as an authority, right? Because now you're an author, you're a speaker, you're on radio and TV, right? You're
Mhm.
getting media attention. And you're the teacher at the front of the room. So it really does a lot of things in a really short period of time. And in less than 12 months, I had literally doubled my income from what I was making in my job, but in my own business.
Wow.
And it was in that moment that I kind of realized this is way more fun than teaching people how to not spend their money and teaching them how to save and not buy lattes and not go on vacations because they hadn't
Yeah.
saved enough for it yet, right? And that was kind of the big turning point for me, is that I think I really want to do this. I want to teach people this incredible transformational strategy to be able to have better business success, because we shouldn't have to struggle as entrepreneurs, as coaches.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have to struggle. There's no reason why 97% of coaches need to be failing. Let's flip that number right on its head. Let's get more coaches and course creators and speakers in a better position to be more successful by using better marketing strategies, better tools that help them do it faster, easier, and more effortlessly than they could on their own, right?
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. It resonates so much with me because I published my first book myself as well, and then I published a second. And now I can literally see that wow effect because it's exactly what you said. The first thing someone would say to you when you say that you're a published author is, wow, how did you do it? And why did you write a book? Tell me more. Tell me about what kind of expertise or knowledge that has that has triggered you or um, made you write that book. And I love this author authority analogy. I love it. This is the first time I hear it, and it makes so much sense. And having a podcast as well is a huge addition to your business success because once again you're an authority figure, and once again there is that wow effect. I started my podcast just a few months ago, and now when I say I'm a published author and I have a podcast, it's a double wow, and I love it. And it's helping me
Yeah.
so much with my business. And I guess obviously it helped you a lot with yours because now you can even reach more people, and this is amazing. And I think this is the purpose of having a business, like a service-based kind of business, is to help as many people as we can, to help them achieve what we achieved, maybe something else, but it's really about help. And we can help more people by reaching more people. And I think writing a book, starting a podcast, doing more marketing. And what is marketing if it's not just going like more out there and be more visible and reaching more people? So can you share with us some of the key strategies from your book, Write and Grow Rich, that you believe are essential for coaches and consultants listening to us to stand out and succeed in their fields?
Yeah, I love it. I have kind of a proprietary process that I take people through. I call it my 5 Ps
Mm-hmm.
of writing and publishing a book. And it all starts with the first P, which is planning, right? You need to be able to understand who it is that you serve, right? A lot of people really resist this idea of like niching down into a very specific smaller pool of people that they're looking to attract, but it truly is where momentum happens, right? I call it micro niching for momentum. Actually, I learned it from a coach. So, my niching is not a concept that I clearly invented. People
Yeah.
understand the concept of it, right? So, but what I love is that when you actually start being able to put your finger or your pulse on somebody that you really want to help, that you can get transformative results for, understanding their struggles and their problems, right? What keeps them up at night, and really understanding what what they desire, what those results that they're looking for look like, and you can then articulate it back to them. That's when people's ears start perking up, right? They lean in, they want more information. It's not uncommon when I talk to people in my world that they'll be like, Kim, it's almost like you're in my head, like you know
Yeah.
exactly what I'm thinking. And that's because I know what my perfect client is thinking because I've studied them a lot and I work with them all the time, right? In the world of coaching, course creators, online, online program creators, coaching program creators, speakers, authors. What we seek, what most of the coaches that I talk to are seeking, is that consistent and predictable income,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right? Because and how I know this is because I was that person, right? My story reflects the people that I'm helping, is
Mm.
that I was on that income roller coaster, right? And I wanted to get the heck off of that ride. It was not fun. Roller coasters, amazing at an amusement park, not fun in business. It's horrible. And so when I finally figured out the strategy to overcome that and decided I wanted to teach other people that, when I'm talking about that story, people resonate with it and it gets people raising their hand, right? And going, yeah, like you're talking to me. So that's the key first step in writing a book, is understanding who your reader is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just like who your client would be if you're in a coaching program. And once you understand that, kind of the rest of the stuff falls in place and starts to make sense because you're just taking your reader on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
You're meeting them where they're at right now, and you're leading them down a path to working with you, right? Ultimately, the goal in my world is not to write your book to sell books, although you can, it's okay. But really, what it's designed to do is to position you, the author, as that trusted advisor, that expert, right? So that people want to work with you. And your book, when written correctly, I always talk about, you can't just write any book. You need to write the right book. And when you write the right book and you design it with intention and purpose, its only job is to lead your reader down the path to becoming a high ticket client. And that's kind of the key strategies that I teach inside of my signature program, which is more just about writing a book, right? It's about a marketing strategy. It's about creating that pathway of attracting, nurturing, and converting your reader into a client. And when you can get those three things nailed down, when you can master attraction, when you can master the nurturing sequence, and when you can master converting, like having really powerful sales calls where you invite your reader to take another step, and you've been inviting them to take steps alongside of you inside of the book, asking them to take that last step and work with you becomes really easy and really effortless rather.
That's amazing. And I love that because I think on some level we are our perfect client because we've been there.
Absolutely.
Your niche should be something very similar to what you have done or the place where you have been before, because you know exactly how to take that person, that perfect client, from where we are to where they want to go. And they have to see it in you. They have to see their future self in, okay, I want what she has. And she obviously has the right recipe, and she obviously can hold me accountable because she's been there. You have to show, you have to tell the story that you've been there and show amazing lessons, stories about how you achieved this success. And this could be done through a podcast, through a book, through whatever posts that you share with your community online, and through your program. It's all to really resonate with other people. And we attract our perfect client through, like, I really love the concept of frequencies. If we are on the same wavelength, on the same frequency, it's so easy to attract people because people just resonate so easily with you. It just clicks.
Yeah, yeah. It's like that old friend where you feel like, I feel like I've known you forever, right?
Yeah,
That's frequency to me. It's like
exactly.
when you just have
Exactly.
that connection, and it's okay, which brings up a really great point, Nina, that you say about that frequency, right? It's just like frequencies, right? That when you're on the same frequency, you start blending together with someone. It's easy, it's effortless, right? And it's not unlike when I talk about magnetic marketing, right? Magnetic marketing is going to draw your perfect customers in because you're talking their language,
Mhm.
right? It will also, if you know how magnets work, if you put them the wrong way together, they repel each other,
Yes.
right? And it's okay. People be like, well, but I can help everybody. I know you might be able to help everybody, but do you really want to? It's okay to repel the wrong people. So, as important as it is to know who you want to work with and who your perfect client is, it's also important to know who you can't help and who you don't want to help, right? And who isn't a good fit. And when you understand those things, your marketing becomes easy, right? And when you understand the customer journey,
Mm-hmm.
the path that you're going to take somebody down, marketing becomes easy. So often I'll sit down with people and I'll be like, oh, they'll tell me, you know what, Kim, I've tried Facebook ads, I've tried, posting on social, I've tried this, I've tried that, and nothing is working for me. And I'm like, okay, so when you do the Facebook ad, or when you post the post on social, what's the next step you're bringing your client to? Like, what's the purpose? Where are you bringing them? And they'll look at me and they're like, well, I'll ask them to, join my program or whatever. It's like, okay, so, you don't really have a clearly defined customer journey path. And that's really important because taking somebody straight from a social media post to buying your $3,000 program almost never works. Like
Yeah.
maybe randomly it might work one or two times. If somebody's literally perfectly in the right place to buy or whatnot. But that's rarely how it works, right? That's like asking somebody to marry you on the first date,
Yes.
where it's not, people aren't there yet. They need to know a little bit about you, right? And when you're in this mode of marketing where you're attracting, nurturing, and converting clients, it's that the journey of know, like, and trust. It's a bit cliche, but it truly is. People need to know a little bit about who you are, right? They need to decide that you're a good fit, that you're running on their frequency, right? They need to want to work with you, and they need to be able to trust. And trust is a bit of a three-legged stool sometimes too, right? It's that they need to trust themselves, that they think that they can get the results.
Yeah.
They need to trust you as the coach or the mentor, and they need to trust your process. They need to be able to see that your process could work for them, right? So there's a lot of moving parts in the marketing journey, but if you can get them organized and systematized, then you're naturally just leading your customer down the path, right to your door, right to that invitation to work with you, to get their transformational results.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly, for sharing this, because I've been there. I've tried to help everyone because I know this program can help everyone. It can, but I'm not attracting the right people for me. And maybe the impulsive person who bought the course from just one Facebook ad will then be impulsive again and say, no, this is not for me. I would like a refund, please, or just not do anything with it. And I would consider it as a loss, because for me, a loss is someone I couldn't help. So it's
Yeah.
really not relevant for me to attract that kind of um, clients, because I want someone I can build something long term. I can see results. I can really help, and I can really improve their life, or whatever it is that my service is about. I want to make it change, and change does not happen overnight, just not one click away. You need to nurture, you need to have
Yeah.
this long-term relationship
Yeah.
with your client. I love it. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
So for those of us considering writing a book to enhance their business, or to use it to become this figure of authority, or to gain more clients, to gain more visibility, what steps would you recommend that they take to get started and ensure their book achieves the intended impact?
Yeah, well, obviously, working with a coach or a mentor is
Mhm.
the best way to get it done and get it done correctly, right? Follow success. Success leaves clues.
Yeah.
Um, for anyone who wants a resource, I have a resource I can provide for your audience, Nina. It's my Book to Buyers Toolkit. And if you would like to receive a copy of that toolkit, I'm happy to get it to anyone who's listening, who reaches out and requests a copy of that. And it's really actually three really juicy resources that I give away for free to help people get started. The first one is my ChatGPT book launch blueprint. So it's all of the prompts that you would need to help get those kind of ideas out of your head. So a lot of the times I'll be working with people and they're like, I just don't know where to start. And it's that dreaded blank page, right? And in my world, it's like, you've got to get something down and on paper so you can start that planning process, right? The most important planning step. And this ChatGPT book launch blueprint will do just that. It helps you identify your perfect reader, figures out what the challenges and struggles that they're having, helps you identify the results and the benefits that your work will help them achieve, right? And it gets kind of the framework set up for you. So it doesn't write your whole book for you. So this is not about using ChatGPT to write your book. You're still going to do that, but it gets a framework and an outline prepared for you so that you have a structure to follow. And that makes writing your book so much easier. The
Wow.
second, yeah, that one's a really great one.
Yeah, what's the second one? Tell
The
me.
second piece inside of that toolkit is my 5 launch map strategies. So it's 5 PDFs, and they literally represent the 5 conversion events that I teach inside of my program. So, and when I say a conversion event, this is part of that nurture sequence, right? The attract, nurture, convert. nurturing your clients means bringing them into your world and giving them a taste of what it would feel like to work with you. The simplest conversion event is a strategy session, right? When you're just starting out, that's how a lot of coaches will start out. They'll get on a strategy call, a coaching call with somebody, and kind of really learn from them one-on-one what they're struggling with and what their desired goals are. And then if it's a good fit, making that invitation to work with you. A more advanced strategy would be something like a multi-day Facebook challenge, for example. They're all over the place online, right? Like, come to my 5-day challenge. That is a conversion event. It's designed to bring people in, to teach them some things over the course of a few days, and then invite them into the program at the end of that conversion event. So I teach 5 different ones in my program, and I give those 5 launch mats inside of the toolkit so you can see what they look like, see which one feels like it's a good fit for your business, and begin the steps to implement one inside of your business. And the third step, which is a really or the third piece of content or resource inside of that toolkit, is my traffic strategies. So a lot of the struggles I hear people having in the online world, especially, is putting butts in seats, right?
Mhm.
So how do you fill your workshops, your events, and your program? Well, I teach you some of my best traffic strategies inside of that toolkit as well. And then the best part is that the toolkit leads to my very own 3-day training event where I'll help you implement all of the tools inside of the toolkit in a 3-day live workshop with me. So your audience would get an invite to that as well, all free.
Oh my God, amazing. I love it, Kim. And I'll make sure to add all the details in the description of the episode. So if you're listening, this is your opportunity. There's so many golden nuggets, I'm sure, in your tools, and I would love to be present in one of your live workshops for sure. There's so
Yeah.
much to learn from you. So what's next for you, Kim? Are there any upcoming projects or goals that you're excited about or working towards?
Well, there's always something awesome happening in my world, but right now
Love
the
it.
one I'm most excited about is I finally hired a technology coach for myself. So I'm not really a big like tech and automation girl, right? It's not my zone of genius, and so I've hired somebody to help me get all of that set up. So all my landing pages, all my CRM, all of that tech stuff that I love, just talking to people and building relationship. That being in the tech in my business is not my strong suit. So I've finally got somebody who's going to be in my corner in that department. And I'm super actually excited about nerding out with it and getting it all done finally. So I can put some leverage systems and tech and automation in my business so I can not be wearing all of the hats where that's concerned.
Oh my God, I love it. Good for you. Good because now you're taking things exponentially to the next level. I love it. So best of luck to you, Kim. I would
Thank
love
you.
to be present, as I said, in your next event. And I'll make sure to put all your contacts in the description of the episode so people can connect with you and interact with you easily. Is there any final advice or anything that you want to share with the audience before we finish?
No, I'm not really any tips or advice, but I would just say, make a decision, right? Champions make
Mhm.
decisions, and everything starts in the moment that you make that decision. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to get great. So
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Kim, and thank you to everyone who's listening. We'll see you again in the next episode.